Alright everybody, so here's a front view of my pack. It's just an old green JanSport book bag I had from college. And I got a few patches I sewed in there. One's the American flag, obviously. And then this one is a U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service patch. It's kind of cool. I used to work for Fish and Wildlife Service. Worked there for about a year. It's an awesome job. I got a few patches. That might be a violation of some strange federal law. But until somebody says something, I'm just going to leave that sucker on there. My big thing is I like keeping it simple. So JanSport's nice and easy. 3 pockets total. One of them's like the big body of the pack. It's easy for me. So before I get into this pack specifically, I just want to say kind of like a disclaimer and general statement. I want to say that what you have in your hunting pack ultimately is dictated by what you're hunting and where you're going. So I just hunt in Pennsylvania for white-tailed deer, sometimes turkey, sometimes small game. I don't go out for those very often, so I don't have too much that changes in my pack from season to season. I'm only walking a quarter of a mile, not even a quarter of a mile, to get into my tree stand. So it's not like I have some really long journey to get to where I need to go. I'm not hunting elk in Colorado, so this isn't a survival bag, this isn't a bug out bag, this isn't an overnight bag, this is just a hunting pack. It just has some essential things in here that I've found are helpful to have and very important whenever you're hunting for white-tailed deer. So without further ado, let's get into it. So in the front pouch, you got your license. I always keep them in these nice big pin sleeves. They're real helpful. You don't have to keep them on an outer garment. I don't believe in PA anymore, but I still do. I got some orange flagging. I usually put this stuff around like a tree. I think they got to be like, you have to have so many square inches. I want to say, I don't know exactly offhand how many it is without looking at the regulation book, but you have to have it within a certain proximity from wherever you're in a stand or a blind for some season, so that's why that's in there. And that's all that's in the front pocket. The second pocket back has a few items. First off, I got a Bonesaw, which I never actually have used this. I just bought this last year. 2 years ago, I'm sorry. And I actually took my deer to a butcher, so I didn't need it. But I bought one because I thought, you know what, I want to have one. I'll probably butcher my next deer. It's been a while since I butchered a deer. So Bonesaw is good to have. Only like probably $20 at Walmart or so. Not very expensive. Next thing up is a good knife. So I usually have a knife on my person, but I keep this knife in my pack. I've gutted quite a few deer with this knife. Nice little Browning knife. It's got a can't get the camera to focus. I wish I could, but it's got a little gun hook on the top of it. Stainless steel knife. I like this knife quite a bit. Comes with a nice little sheath. Very handy. I have a huge assortment of disposable hand warmers for when it starts to get colder. I don't have it in the video, but I actually also use a reusable hand warmer Zippo makes, which are very convenient. I have a headlamp, Pelican, super handy, good to have, especially once it gets dark. Duh. Let's see, what else I got in here? I got a little flashlight too. I never really use this much, but got a flashlight too. It's always good to have a backup, especially if you're looking for deer and someone's helping you. That way they'll have something to look around with at night. Let's get into the main pack. The main body of the pack. Oh yeah, I don't want to forget this too. On the back of my pack, I leave one of these like insula seats, or the Thermos Seats, I guess they call them, different things. But these are handy to have if you're in a blind, if you're in a stand, if you are on a log or on the ground. It's good to have one of these, especially once it gets colder. like a nice little foam pad to sit on. They're quiet too because they're super soft. And in the main body of the pack, this is my fluorescent orange clothing. This is the only clothing I'm going to go over in the video because this pack, again, it's not what's on your person. It's just kind of what I have in my pack. So I always keep 2 of these fluorescent orange vests. They're kind of like rolled up in a ball right now, but I keep 2 of them in case one of them rips because they're kind of chintzy. They have so many square inches. I don't remember offhand, but again, it's whatever state law requires in Pennsylvania. So got 2 of those vests. It's good to have 2 also in case someone's coming with you and they don't have one. I have, it's one of my favorite hats. It's like a, I believe this is rabbit fur. Not everywhere, like on the very interior of the hat. You guys probably can't see it, but it's not rabbit fur. But it is on the front and on both of the ears. So these are like a bomber pilot hat, I think they call these. Really warm. It's very good to have in the winter. It's a Yukon tracks. Pretty cool. So I like that quite a bit. I have one of these, a couple, I think, yeah, one orange beanie hat. It's good to have. Fluorescent orange. Then I have one of these like Elmer Fudd looking fluorescent orange hats with ear pieces that come down. A little piece around the back of your head too. Really handy. It's old school. I like it a lot. It's a great hat. All this fluorescent orange is, you know, again, something that the state requires, and it's safe, you know, especially whenever firearms are involved. It's always good to be visible to people around you. So I keep that in my pack at all times. That way I don't lose track of it. Now, in PA, archery is the first season to come in, and you don't have to wear fluorescent orange for like 2 weeks. So if I'm cold at all, I wear this beanie. This is just an old beanie my uncle bought me a long time ago. I think it's good luck, so I always reuse it. Had it for years. And then I have these gloves I actually use year-round. They're not super warm, but they do the trick. And they're really, really nice because they have the fingers cut out, so you can still maintain your dexterity whenever you're hunting with a bow or a rifle. I really recommend getting something similar to this. They're really handy, no pun intended. So we got all this out of the way. Now, in the main body of the pack, multiple things here. There's some heavy stuff. I keep it towards the bottom of the pack to distribute the weight accordingly. And then there's a few things in the back here. I have some of these left over from last year. These are like those wicks you hang in trees with scented smells for deer. And I'm really big on bags. Anybody that's gutted a deer, or any animal for that matter, is probably big on bags too. So I got a bunch of Walmart bags, Target bags, all that stuff to throw your trash in. Throw anything in that's, you know, needs disposed of. I got a huge Ziploc bag full of game cleaning gloves, and they're like gauntlet gloves. They come all the way up to your elbow. So I definitely recommend buying gloves for all the way up to your elbow, because when you're gutting an animal, sometimes you might be, you know, shoulder deep or elbow deep in things. So it's really good to have that little bit of extra length. I also have some like wet ones, napkins for like wiping your hands off after. There's a trash bag in here and a bunch of other Ziploc bags too. So I think vegetation's really cool, plants and everything. I'll probably do more videos on that in the future, identifying plants. I used to do that for a living, and I actually have some Ziploc bags in here too in case I find a really cool plant and I want to ID it later. I'll throw it in a bag and take it home with me. So there's also a few pencils and pens in here too. You never know when you might need to write, and some zip ties, things like that, to actually put the tag on the animal that you harvest. So next up is, and finally, is the last bit of stuff that's in the bag here. So I have a deer drag in here, which is really handy to have whenever you're trying to move a 150-pound animal out of the woods. I have a rattle bag for bucks. I have it's like a little grunt call. Looks kind of like an antler. Thought that was neat. It's good marketing. I got a drop rope for if you're going in and have a tree stand and you want to raise or lower a bow or a firearm. These are good to have. I think this is like 25 feet long, I believe. So it's good to have that. I have some doe estrus. That's left over from last year. I have, this stuff here is kind of controversial. Some people don't spray their stuff off, but I do think that scent has a lot to do with it. So I have some premium earth scent. Some premium earth scent. Really cool. So definitely recommend that, you know, for spraying your stuff off. Certainly can't hurt to mask the smells that are foreign to deer. And then last thing here is a pair of binoculars. And I've seen videos before people recommend having monoculars, which is like, you know, much smaller, takes up half the space. That's a really good idea. I just never got around to buying one of those. And I love these binoculars too, so it's good to have. Some people will say that it's okay to use like a scope as a pair of binoculars. That's not true. I don't think that's a good idea, because you have to aim a firearm at something you're looking at, and that's not something you want to do. So anyway, the biggest thing here is, again, it all depends on the context of what you're doing. If you're going to go hunt elk in Colorado, your pack's going to look drastically different than it does if you're going to hunt whitetails like I am a quarter of a mile away in Pennsylvania. So there's a lot to think about, and a lot of good resources online to look at to see what's in your pack. I just thought I'd do this because I haven't really talked about my hunting supplies or preparedness before, and hunting season's coming up soon, so I thought maybe this would be a fresh topic for everybody to think about. And it's good too to like go through everything beforehand, make sure you have everything you need and you're prepared. So get thinking about that, because before you know it, you know, rifle season's going to be here, and it's good to be prepared. So anyway, it's one more way of getting out in the woods, and we're all big advocates of that, right? So thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you guys in the next video, and remember, get out in the woods.